Alright, test. We have exponents review today. I'm carrying around my iPad and I'm talking to my class and they're ready to review with us. When I have A times A times A times A, what's something that I can do to write that in a shorter version when I'm talking about exponents? Yes?
You would have to write, let's see. You could do 1A, 2A.
I can write a base with A, right? And then, like I said in my review, what are we talking about?
Exponents.
Exponents. So, I need to write an exponent right there. But how do I know what number goes there?
Because you gotta count them.
Count them. And how many do I have?
5.
5 of them. So my exponent's going to be?
5.
5. Okay? So we've reviewed the fact that exponential notation is talking about you're taking expanded form back into, I don't need that email right now, taking my expanded form back into exponential notation, right? So my goal is to take something that's written out really long and make it what?
Shorter.
Shorter. Good. Okay. And this is just another version. This is me taking exponential notation and writing it in what form? What's the form called when I take it out of exponential notation? Yes?
Scientific notation?
That's later on in our unit. What's it called when I take the short version and I write it out? When in doubt, expand it out. Expanded form. Good. Okay. So now we're going to review a little bit for if I'm multiplying, okay? If I'm multiplying when I have a coefficient, a base, and an exponent. What am I going to do first?
Multiply.
Multiply 5 times 10, which gives me?
50.
50. Good. I've got 50. Now, what do I do with my base and exponent now? When in doubt,
Expand it out.
expand it out, right? So how am I going to expand a to the power of 2?
Times 2.
I'm going to write a twice, right? So a. Okay? What about the 3 a's over here? What am I going to do?
Write it 3 times.
I'm going to write it down here with it. So A. Good, I'm done, right? Nothing else left to do?
No.
No, what's wrong with it?
There's no decimal. Wait a minute.
Not decimal, there's no
There's no 3.
there's no exponent, right?
Yeah.
I need to make an exponent. So how do I know what my exponent's going to be?
You gotta add them up.
I gotta count them, right?
Yeah.
Once I count them, that tells me that it's going to be 50 a to the power of what?
5.
5, because there's 5 a's. Good. Then it gets a little bit trickier, doesn't it? We just did multiplication, now we're going to do
Division.
division, right? When I do division, what do I have to do first?
Expand it out.
Expand it out. So I'm going to write down, draw a squiggly line because this is my expanded version. 5 is first, and then what comes after 5? A, how many times?
2.
2 times, because my exponent is 2. Good. 5 times A times A. Then what comes after that? What goes on the bottom?
8 times A times A.
That's
10?
10.
Is that what you said? I'm sorry. I got confused there. 10. And then how many A's?
3 A.
3 A's. Good. So A times A times A. And that, man, that 10 is looking really ugly. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Now what do I do? What comes next?
Equation.
I'm going to
Solve the equation.
I'm going to what? Going to
Cross
them out, right?
No.
Good, good. How do I know when to cross them out?
They're the same.
When they're the exact same, right? Is there any that are the exact same?
No. A and A.
A and A are the same, so I'm going to cross those out. Can I do anything with 5 and 10? They're not the same, so do I just leave it as 5 over 10? Right not. Why not? It's a fraction, right? So is 5 over 10, can that be simplified?
Yes.
Yes. Does 5 go into 10?
Yes.
Yeah, it ends in a 0, right? What's my new
1/2.
fraction?
1/2.
1/2, right? So I've got 1 over 2, and where I got 1a left over. Why is this not? There we go. I got 1a left over. Where am I going to put that a, on top or bottom?
Top.
Is it on top right now?
Bottom.
It goes on the bottom, right? Now the only time I switch from the top to the bottom with my variable is when? When do I know to switch from top to bottom? Or bottom to top? When it's a negative, right? When it's a negative. Good. Okay. So this is review. My class just did this as bell work, right? When I get one that's written like this, I've got a base that is 5 and a base that is 15, but they both have the same exponent of 8. But I've got a division sign here in the middle. Okay? When I've got a division sign in the middle, why is this not? Okay. When I got a division sign in the middle, how do I rewrite it?
5, 15.
5 over 15. Good.
And then you can simplify it to 1/3.
And then I can simplify it to 1/3.
And then you put in parentheses and put it over 8. Put like the exponent.
They're both to the power of 8. And what my student right now is saying is that I can even simplify it even more because I'm trying to get it in exponential notation. So let me add a new slide here. I've got 1/3 and they both are to the power of 8. And she said, oh, look, I noticed I've got the same exponent on top and bottom. So I'm going to change that to 1 over 3 and then put it to the power of 8 outside of parentheses because then it goes down to both the top and to the top, correct? Do these equal the same thing?
Yeah.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Because it gets distributed to both top and bottom. Ooh, here's what we were talking about earlier. Whew. Do we like negatives? Not really. We get used to them in scientific notation, but right now we think they stink, don't they? They stink. How do I get rid of a negative? Can I just say, yeah, I don't like negatives. I'm just going to erase it in front of the 5? Can I just get rid of negative?
No.
No, I can't, can I? How do I change it to a positive?
Flip it.
Flip it to the bottom, right? What goes on top?
1.
1. Because if there was nothing underneath it before, it's understood that each number or each variable can be written as a fraction if you put it over 1, correct? So if I flip it and put the exponent on the bottom, my exponent has now become a positive. Okay? So now we're going to do some multiplication with a negative exponent. Okay? So, when in doubt,
Expand it out.
expand it out. Why is only one person saying it? Okay? When in doubt,
Expand
expand it out. Good. So I'm going to expand 5. What am I going to write after 5? What am I going to write? How many A's?
5 times A times A.
Times A times A. Good. Then what am I going to write after that, Kendra?
10.
Times 10. Good. And then am I going to put the 3 A's behind that? Do the three A's go on the same level, or do they change level?
Change level.
Why is that?
Because it's a negative.
So I got to draw a new line and write A 3 times. So do I have anything that's the same on the top and the bottom?
2 A's.
I have two A's that are the same, so I got 2. Cross them out, right? So what do I do with this 5 and 10 up top? What do I do?
Multiply.
I multiply them, right? 5 times 10 is?
5 times 10, 50.
Yes, 50, right? So I've got 50. Do I have any A's left up top? No. Do I have any A's left on the bottom?
No. Yeah, 1.
I got 1 left, so do I put it on the bottom underneath 50, or do I just say, hey, I'll just put it next to 50 anyways?
Next to 50, wait. No, under it.
Underneath it, right? Because it's on the bottom. I can't just say, hey, I don't like it down there. I want to move it. So now I have 50 over A. Make sense? And on this slide, as you can see, there's nothing. So that means we are complete. Now, this is going to be posted online, and you will be able to use it at any time.